up, y'all? It's your girl Amanda, and we are back with another episode of Thompson and Stuff. So, we are actually at the end of July. Well, it's like almost another full week left, but this is technically the end. Um, what have I been doing? I've been just, staying cool, avoiding the heat. Uh, I wrote a new book. I have to type it out though, but I did write a new book. And also, I am working on the second Meridian Dream book as well. And I've just been like strategizing what's been going on with TikTok and seeing how I can, you know, market this new book. What I realized is that I could really use TikTok to get the word out more than what I've been doing. When I first published my books, y'all know what I used, and I actually paid money for it. I used Facebook promotion, I used Twitter promotion, and I spent a lot of money, putting a lot of money into that. And I just couldn't believe how much money I spent putting, that much money into promotion. And it didn't work, honestly. It really didn't work. So thankfully, I'm learning how to, set up the algorithm with TikTok. And, if you guys have any other marketing ideas, I am so open to hearing them because I'm ready to put out another book. It's been about like maybe 3 or 4 years since I put out the Meridian Dream, so I'm just ready to publish something, have something new. Because friends and family, they've been asking me, are you putting out anything new? Are you working on writing? Of course, I'm podcasting and making YouTube videos and stuff, but I haven't been writing. I've been slacking. So that's what I've been primarily working on, and being in the house. So nothing, not a big major update with me, just chilling. But I do have a lot of stuff I want to talk about with you guys because I know it's been a while. So to get started, the Michael Jackson movie actually has been pushed back again. So the last time we heard about a Michael Jackson movie coming out, it was thought to be released in like probably 3 to 4 months from now, but it's the new release date is actually now April 2026, so almost a year from now. As I said before, because I talked about the possibility of it being split up into two movies, I know this movie is going to be really good if they keep pushing it back, because it wouldn't make sense if this movie was terrible as many times as it's been like pushed back. It wouldn't make sense to people. Like, people, it's going to be in the movie theaters, and we all know like how expensive movie theaters are. You go, you get the movie, the ticket itself is like 20, well, $12 for one person. Okay, you get your ticket, and then you got to get concessions, of course, because people like to eat stuff and watch a movie. So you got to get your popcorn, you got to get your candy, you got to get your drink. Now if you bougie and you like the large popcorn with the large drink and the box candy, that runs you about $24, right? But if you're frugal like me, you could get like the kids meal where it comes with a medium popcorn. No, I'm sorry, a small popcorn. You get a side of candy, and you also get a small drink. It does the trick. Trust me, when you go to the movies. But my thing is, when I go to the movies, because again, y'all, I'm an AMC girl. I like to eat my popcorn before the movie even starts, even during the previews. But the previews be good too. But yeah, so the Michael movie, I just know it's gonna be really good because they keep pushing it back. They again use like actual places where Michael Jackson lived, like Neverland and the last house he lived in when he died in. So that makes sense. So of course I'm a little bummed because I have to wait a little longer, but I just know that this movie is gonna be really, really, really good. Uh, Shaq is in the news because he said he'll give Megan Thee Stallion and Klay Thompson 6 weeks. So if you guys didn't know, Megan Thee Stallion, she's a rapper, obviously, is dating Klay Thompson. Now, I don't really keep up with the NBA because I think Klay Thompson, last time I read, he plays for the Dallas Mavericks, but I've known him for playing for the Golden State Warriors, but I guess he got traded. So Shaq said he'll give Megan and Klay like 6 weeks, and honestly, he's so wrong for that, y'all. He is so wrong for that. because I saw them at a red carpet event a couple days ago. They were a nice looking couple. They're both tall. They have great skin. I think they're gonna be together for some years, not 6 weeks, Shaq. So that's so wrong. And also, we don't hear a lot about the couple. Like when Megan the Stallion, she was dating those other dudes, like Partisan and all them. I heard a lot about them. So I guess she's keeping this relationship so low key, and I'm all here for it because the best relationships are the low key relationships. We see pictures of you, we know you're together, but we don't know a lot about you. You see what I'm saying? So that's very good, and I'm very happy for Megan. I mean, Klay Thompson, he seems like a really good guy. His father was in the NBA, and I guess he grew up in a two-parent household like she did. So I'm all here for it. I'm here for it. I hate that, people are just so negative towards relationships these days. Just, bro, why are you being so negative? Let's see. New music is coming out, or has been put out. The Clips put out a new album, Malice and Pusha T. Now, honestly, I have not listened to this new album. I haven't had a chance to really sit down and listen to any music, but I'm honestly happy because it's just true nostalgia when you listen to Clips, even if it's like grinding. Like grinding came out like what 2002. I was 7. I remember like how heavy that song was played on the radio. So I'm glad that Clips is coming back. Malice, we all know he went to go find religion, but he's back in the rap game. Just seeing them together, and also I heard that their parents wanted them to get back together and start making music. So it's really nice that they actually had opportunity to fulfill their parents' wish because they both passed away. So I've heard some snippets of it from like the Joe Budden podcast and stuff, but I really want to sit and listen to this because honestly, to me, Clips is under the umbrella of Pharrell's music because obviously Pharrell has produced them before, but it's just I have this umbrella in my mind when I classify hip hop artists. It's under the Pharrell umbrella, Clips and Missy Elliott and Timbaland. Just that umbrella. I'm very happy that they're back together. Also, Mariah Carey is putting out an album, and the album is called Here for It All, right? So I'm here for it all because I actually like the image of the image for this album for Mariah. Normally you see Mariah Carey and she's like in gowns and everything's elaborate, but when I saw like the album cover, it was relaxed. She wasn't in gowns. She was relaxed, like I guess in like a one piece or something, like a bodysuit, or I don't know, but she wasn't elaborately dressed, and I'm here for it. And I like the Type Dangerous song, and you know who produced that? Freaking Anderson .Paak. So I think this image for Mariah is just gonna be a little bit more relaxed, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Like she says, here for it all. Let's see what else is going on. Nicki Minaj versus SZA. Nicki Minaj says that SZA sings like a dead dog. I'm honestly on SZA's side for this because I don't really like Nicki Minaj. When she first came out, I was in high school. I was like 14, right? And she had those two songs that were basically remixes, and then she started coming out with original stuff. Those were cool. But as the years went by and I saw her style and how she talks to people and stuff, I kind of fell back from her. And this, like her talking about SZA, is just nothing but a form of bullying. And I don't do bullying, honestly. I really don't. So, Nicki Minaj, she's starting beefs left and right with people, notably Cardi B and Lil Kim, and I'm not here for it. I'm sorry. Like, I didn't instigate the whole thing. When I first heard the news, I just shook my head. Because I'm just not a Nicki Minaj fan. I'm really not. I'm really not. So, Team SZA, even though I don't know a lot of SZA music, but I'm Team SZA on this because I don't condone bullying. I don't. And a 30 plus, 40 plus year old woman is bullying. I think SZA's in her like mid 30s. You know what? The age doesn't matter at this point. She's bullying her, and SZA has a lot of talent. So, and she's beautiful. I mean, Nicki Minaj is beautiful too. She's beautiful, but with an ugly spirit. That's just my opinion. Moving on from that, did you guys catch up with the CEO being caught cheating on his wife at a Coldplay concert? So, long story short, a guy, he was messing around with his one of his workers. Now, when I first saw the situation, yes, I don't condone cheating. I do not condone cheating, but this is what I thought. Okay, this man is taking this woman who's not his wife out to a Coldplay concert. So why is there like legal repercussions and stuff in it? Well, it's because she worked for him, and I guess that's like a no-no in the workplace, and that's where the legal repercussions come in. Now, his name is Andy Byron, and freaking Chris Martin, man. Chris Martin was like, "Oh, they're just a little shy, or they don't want to be on camera." He was basically instigating it, y'all. But anyway, little did they know it was a freaking affair. And so Chris Martin should have some blame in this. I think Chris Martin should have some blame in this. But the after effects. So the only two that really stood out to me was that Andy resigned. Like, he said he was going to step down, but I actually found out he resigned. And then his wife took her last name off social media, which is Andy's last name, right? Now, this kind of reminded me when I was like in high school, and I don't know, my peer group was kind of weird. Like, we thought we was married to the people we were dating in high school, but that didn't work out. But so yeah, she took off her last name on social media. It reminded me, like, when I would friend certain girls from school on Facebook, and they were so in love with their man, and they changed their Facebook name to their man's last name. And then once her and said boyfriend from school had issues, she changed her name, took his name off. I mean, it's not funny, but that's what it reminded me of. So the poor woman's hurting. So they probably are, getting a divorce or something. I don't know. I haven't really heard anything since then, but that just reminded me of when girls used to do that in school, and then all of a sudden, there's beef, and then, when I was in high school, because I don't know, we had like stronger emotions than these kids these days. The girl would have like a breakdown in the middle of the hallway, and it was rough. But I just hope everything works out for Andy and his wife, and make sure everything's cool, because they have kids, of course. So the kids can't be too traumatized in that situation. Moving on, the late night show with Stephen Colbert is coming to an end in May of 2026. So I am a little disturbed by that. I hear that it was due to the structure, because not a lot of people are really watching regular TV these days. We stream everything, but at the same time, like, the late night show comes on CBS, and you can get that through rabbit ears. But again, not a lot of people do rabbit ears. Me personally, I don't have cable at my house, but I don't do rabbit ears. I stream everything. But that is an issue. But I also heard it could be connected to CBS having to pay Donald Trump and all that jazz. But what people don't understand, like why it's like devastating, is because the late night show was actually a franchise. The franchise itself is coming to an end. So before Stephen Colbert took over 10 years ago, it was David Letterman, and that's my generation. David Letterman, and then before him was Johnny Carson, I believe. So David Letterman was my generation, and I remember when I was a kid, and I would watch something on CBS like CSI or I want to say Superior Donuts. I really liked that show, but it got canceled. Like stuff like that, like just watching a regular CBS show, and then you'll hear the voice tonight on David Letterman. Like they'll show the interview with who David Letterman was interviewing, and don't let it be somebody I really like a hip hop artist or somebody I'm really interested in their work. I would stay up to watch them on Letterman. So it's just the end of an era of like late night TV. We don't have a lot of late night TV shows these days. Um, I don't know who I haven't really watched CBS in a lot. Well, I would say Bill Maher, but we're talking about CBS. Um, yeah, there's not a lot of late night shows anymore. I remember when I was in college, like I got to experience the fun of Arsenio Hall. Going back to David Letterman, his show was fun. Let's step off CBS for me. Let's go to NBC. I remember Jay Leno being on TV back in like the 90s and the early 2000s. Like it was fun, and I guess like now fun is coming to an end. But the good thing out of all this is that other talk show hosts, they are coming together to support, Stephen Colbert and protesting the the cancellation of the late night show. Like, what's that guy's name? I don't watch him, but he's on Comedy Central. He like had a whole choir singing "F you" to Donald Trump, right? I thought that was hilarious and a great way to show support. Also, Donald Trump did respond to this because he put on Twitter, and this was so stupid of him to say, oh, you guys want to talk, blah, blah, blah. Your TV show gets canceled too. Can somebody please tell that man that that is not how it works? That is not how it works, fam. You can't just tap somebody on the shoulder and say, take him off air. Yeah, you might be the president of the United States of America, but you do not have the powers you think you have. So ain't nobody gonna go and take Jimmy Fallon off the air and all them people because you want them, because you got problems. No, that's not happening. So I'm just sad that it's the end of the late night show, what I grew up watching. And people did say, like, Stephen Colbert, he'll land on his feet. I hope he gets like, you know what? I think Netflix should do like a late night show where they can, but it's gonna be so much money and so much bandwidth. If now that I think about it, but they should definitely do like a late night show every night, like they do, but it's on Netflix. But we'll see what Netflix can come up with. I did want to talk about Gary Coleman's wife. What happened was that she failed the lie detector test of what happened to Gary. Gary Coleman died like 15 years ago. So many years. I don't think it was 15. It was probably when I graduated high school. It's like 12 to 15 years ago. So I just have a simple question. So she failed the lie detector test. Does this mean like a criminal investigation will be opened up and she'll be like investigated or questioned or arrested? Or is that like statute of limitations is up? I don't understand. But that's what I did learn. I did watch the Gary documentary right when I restarted the reviews. I think that was like last year or something. And I watched like her behavior in that documentary, and it was a little weird, to be honest. It was a little weird. So are they gonna like investigate her? Like what's gonna happen? That's what I want to know. Now that that's been put out in the news. Um, let's see what else is going on. SeaWorld. Y'all ever see SeaWorld be having like black artists? Like it's nothing wrong with that. But I thought we hated SeaWorld because of how they treated the dolphins and stuff. Like, what's that all about? But SeaWorld be having people like Fat Joe and Yin Yang Twins and all them people performing there. So is SeaWorld like in desperate need of, attraction? Like people need to come here because they don't like the dolphins or how the treatment of dolphins. I'm sorry. Like, what's that all about? I mean, I think Bow Wow and Soldier Boy was there. Are they trying to do like a nostalgia thing? Like, I don't get it. It's cool. Like, it's a very cool marketing tool because, a lot of people in that crowd look like they were my age. And Bow Wow and Soldier Boy, I don't want to say Fat Joe because Fat Joe is still fairly popular these days. Like, that crowd, Trina and all them, Keisha, I think Keisha Cole was, I don't want to say Was she? I don't know. But people who had like the big hits of 2005, basically, they're supposed to be there. And I'm trying to figure out like why. Like what why are they there? Why are they there? I personally wouldn't go to SeaWorld because I'm not really into aquariums and stuff. Like here in Chicago, we have like the Shed Aquarium. Well, no, is SeaWorld an aquarium or just like, I think it's an aquarium. I've never been to SeaWorld. SeaWorld's in San Diego. I live in the Midwest. So it's like, I don't know. But if I want to see like dolphins and underground stuff, I go to Shed Aquarium. Very expensive to get in. But if you don't know, if you live in Illinois or if you live in Chicago, the museums, they do have like free days. But I think the only way to prove you live there in the area is if you bring your ID. Yeah, yeah, so yeah, but SeaWorld, I guess SeaWorld needs the money. If they need the money, how do they pay? I don't, they just need, like, I guess a refresh of image. So that's why they got all those artists. There's that. Let's see what else is going on. Denise Richards is getting a divorce. Now, when I first saw this story, I immediately questioned, like, what the heck happened? Because every time I saw Denise Richards on TV, whether it was on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills or that other show, I really didn't watch the other show. I didn't like it. But she seemed so in love with Aaron, right? Aaron Pipers, whatever his name is. So I was like, man, they must have not been underground happy in a long time. So then there, like a couple days later, there was photos of Denise with a black eye. She, she had bruises and stuff. So he was abusing her. But Aaron, he's doing like that typical like I didn't do anything, she did everything situation. TMZ caught him going to the police station filing a report, and then he also went on TMZ. I don't know why people go on TMZ to clear their case because that's not a good look anyway. He claimed that, she was cheating on him, but I don't believe that because every time I watched him on TV, she looks so in love with him. But we watched him get married on Real Housewives of um Beverly Hills. Like she loved him, but he didn't do right by her. So that's what we learned about it. And I'm glad that, it's an abusive situation. And I'm glad that, Brooke, Denise, I was going to call her Brooke Shields. I'm glad that Denise got out of there. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm glad that she got out. She got her children out. And, he's wherever he is and suffering. But it's crazy. Like, I guess, like I always tell people, we don't know these celebrities. We don't know what goes on behind closed doors. And Denise is very, very brave for her to, like, kind of step forward and like say, oh, this is what was going on. So I hope everything really works out for her. I hope they get a speedy divorce, and I hope he stays away from her. And also, I don't ever recall him having a real job. Like when I was watching Real Housewives of Beverly Hills when she was on there, like I don't know, like 2 years ago, and somebody asked him what he did for a living, and his description of it just sounded so bizarre. Like he worked in medicine for like radiation or something in that realm. It just sounded so bizarre. So basically, he didn't have no job, and he was living off Denise. What a bum, right? Right. So yeah, I couldn't believe that. So I hope everything really works out for her. And Aaron, I hope you know his pubic hairs burn off because that was just not cool of him putting his hands on Denise like that. And I never met Denise Richards, but she just seems so cool. And fun fact about Denise is that she's actually from Downers Grove, Illinois. Downers Grove is about 35 minutes from me. So it's one of like the nicer neighborhoods, if you will. So she's from up there. It's about like, I think I want to say 30 to 40 minutes away. It's a little bit past Schaumburg, and Schaumburg's really nice. So yeah, she's from the north suburbs. What else? Congratulations to Bone Thugs and Harmony. They're getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I walked the Hollywood Walk of Fame. It's a lot of stars on there, and Bone Thugs and Harmony's been out since like 1993, 1993, 1992, because East 1999. If y'all are a real Bone Thugs fan, y'all would know that East 1999 or E 1999 or whatever it's called, the Crossroads album, that's not their first album. That's their first like successful album, if you will, but that's not their first album. It's this one album, Creeping on the Come Up, if you will. That was their first album. That came out before I was born. And then the Crossroads came out right around the time I was born. I'm 30, and Creeping on the Come Up came up like maybe 2 years before me. So 32 years. They deserve it. And they've put out not creative, but amazing music even after the Crossroads. They've been through so much even after the Crossroads. You got to remember, they were signed to Eazy-E, and then Eazy-E passes away from AIDS complicated pneumonia. And they've been through a lot with that company until they got signed with another company. Also, they've worked with artists like Mariah Carey and Phil Collins. So they truly deserve it. And I can't wait to see like the ceremony. I know it's going to be like probably streamed somewhere. I don't know when they're getting it, like what day they're getting it, but I know they're getting one. And all 5 members, Busy, Lazy, Wish, Flesh, and Crazy, they better be there. All 5 of them better be there. Um, 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 um. Beyonce's equipment and music, unreleased music, has been stolen in Atlanta. First of all, I'm not surprised because that stuff does go down in Atlanta. Now, I'm not trying to blame anybody, but I just wanted to know like why didn't said person take the stuff out of the car with them when they went inside wherever they were? If they had something like so important like unreleased music from Beyonce, because I've been on the internet a long time, right? When Michael Jackson died, like they had hella demos from Michael Jackson. There was unreleased music from Chris Brown. Well, I don't know if I'm going to say unreleased, but I've never heard early Chris Brown's music before his album in 2005. Like, I've heard different unreleased, very rare artists' music, right? Except Beyonce. I don't know how, I don't know why, but yeah, I've never experienced that, never heard it, never seen it. So I wouldn't be surprised, like maybe 3 to 4 weeks later, after all this dies down, or maybe she put out a police report and stuff, that we'll hear something unreleased or something on YouTube saying "Rare Beyonce 2025." You know, so I'm not trying to blame the person who is responsible, but it is Atlanta, and you have to be careful about that. So be on the lookout for some unreleased stuff. uh, Did you guys see the new Medea movie? I didn't really do a like a video for it because I just wanted to watch as a spectator for the movie. Honestly, it had its flaws, its costume flaws. You know, we did see some things, but the writing of it was good. There were funny parts in it. The ending was great. You know, a lot of the references were great. So honestly, I would give it a 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5. I think it's because Tyler Perry has like all of these shows because he has his contract with Netflix. But I think there should be another Medea movie, something in the Atlanta area. I think we need another Medea movie in the Atlanta area. But I did enjoy Medea's Destination Wedding. It did seem a little rushed, but it was explained why it was rushed in the movie. But I just wish it was probably a little longer with some detail. But it was a good movie, though. Uno is being added to casinos. Casinos. I'm not looking forward to that. Now, I don't really go to why do I keep trying to say casinos? Casinos. I don't go to casinos. I'm not a fan of casinos. They're loud and they smell weird, and they're alcohol and all that stuff. But I'm good. But having Uno put in the casinos, I guess, is gonna raise like the tension. It's gonna be crazy when people start losing at Uno. It's bad enough when you play at the cookout with your cousins and your uncles, like it's rough. But when you like play in a casino and people are already mad enough because they lost like maybe $500 just by sitting down in front of a craps table for 20 minutes, no. I hope this is just a test run, and then if it's not working, or you know people get crazy, they take it right out. I don't like this one bit, but it also brings in like more revenue to casinos, I guess, because everybody plays Uno. Not everybody knows how to go and bet on black. Not everybody knows craps. Not everybody has the best of luck with slots. Like, I guess, I guess that's cool. That's cool. But speaking of casinos, so again, y'all, I'm from the south suburbs of Chicago, right? So they built this casino in East Hazelcrest, which is kind of the ghetto, but not really. So they built this casino. When they started building this casino, y'all, I swear, I was like, I don't know how this is gonna work, because once they started outlining the space for it, right? I thought, oh man, that's gonna be too small. That's not gonna work, because I'm so used to big casinos, right? I'm thinking like it'll have the same amount as the Harris in Joliet. I've been there once and I was a kid, but I remember how big it was. Um, like the other casinos up north, the casinos in Michigan, like I thought about that. Like they have a lot of space, but they built that hotel in East Hazelcrest. It worked out. They have ample parking on the floor by the place. They got garage parking, but the thing is, a man brought his Escalade to that casino and it was stolen. And I'm like, dang, I think it was probably one of the newer Escalades too, because those newer ones are very expensive. Like, if you want one fully loaded, that's gotta be like $150,000, and I'm including taxes, title, and fees. That's about $150,000. Um, I couldn't believe that, but then it was like I'm not shocked because it's damn near in the ghetto. But it is, but it's not, because it's very close to Homewood. Homewood, Illinois is a really really nice area to live. But if you go over the bridge, it's like Markham, Harvey, Hazelcrest. They those areas aren't so lucky. And I felt so bad for that man. Like I hated that his car had to be stolen from the casino. And they I guess they tried to rectify it, quote unquote tried, but they told him not to come back to the casino. The story is on TikTok, and it just made me mad, because something you worked so hard for to have, it got stolen, and nobody does anything to help him get his car back. So I do think about that situation. I hope that he got his car back, or he got another car and he's okay. So I was just thinking about that story when I talked about the casino and Uno. Um, has anyone seen Power Moves on Netflix? So Power Moves is a show. It's about Shaq and Allen Iverson um, doing, or not doing, they're working hard to bring back Reebok to the top of his game. So Reebok kind of fell off hard. I mean, Reebok was the jam back when I was a kid, but nobody's well, no, let me not say nobody, because y'all know those square Reeboks that come in black, white, different colors. They're coming back, and I want a pair. I gotta find a pair of my size. But Shaq and Allen Iverson, they were working to make Reebok one of the top shoes, like Nike and Adidas, by signing Angel Reese and other athletes. This one athlete, he plays for the Bulls. He's from Chicago. They signed him too on there. I really did enjoy that show, and I really do like that. I do like watching Shaq on reality TV and docu-series. Like, he's really funny, and he should do more reality TV, because not only does he have Power Moves on Netflix, I think he had a reality show called Shaq, or docu-series or whatever. I think it's either on HBO Max or Netflix. I forgot, but I watched the whole thing. It was about 2 to 3 seasons, and that was a really really good show. And Power Moves is really good. Now, yes, Allen Iverson is on there, but it's not like he's not like in our face. Like it's mostly Shaq, but AI was on there too, and he did a pretty good job because I can't imagine Allen Iverson being on reality TV, like this guy who has tattoos and he seems kind of private, like he. If you watched him play when he was in his playing years, like you couldn't imagine it, but he did a really good job. It wasn't a big role he played, but he did a really good job. So, Power Moves on Netflix, I do give a 5 out of 5, and check it out. Let's see what else. Uh, Next Gen NYC and the Nelly Ashanti show. So I tried to watch the first couple episodes of Nelly and Ashanti show. It just wasn't for me. I love Nelly's music. I love Ashanti's music, but just by watching it, I could just tell it was not for me. So I only watched after the first 2 episodes. But Next Gen NYC, I did that with them too. But just something told me a couple days ago to go back and watch the show. Just watch it all the way through. They just had their season finale last night, and I just watched it. Honestly, I really enjoyed Next Gen NYC. I enjoyed seeing Riley, who is the daughter of Candy Burris. She was on Real Housewives of Atlanta as a child. Then there was Ava Dash, who is the daughter of Rachel Roy and Damon Dash. Then there was Gia Judice. I want to call them Judice. I don't know, that's not how they say their name. Judice. Gia Judice. I never really watched Real Housewives of New Jersey, but I knew who she was, and I listened to her mom's podcast. And Ariana Bierman. My favorite character, well, not character, but my favorite person on the show is honestly Ariana, because she's been through a lot. Like, Croy and Kim, her parents, they split up, they lost their house, and she moved to New York with her boyfriend, who was the heir to Zaxby's. She started over on her own, and also she kept it real about her having to pay her mom's bills after her parents' divorce. She did kind of like have a falling out with like Riley. That's her really close friend on the show, but she like automatically went back and she made up with Riley because that's what real friends do. You know what I mean? I watch reality shows where people like fall out with their friends and then they just leave it at that, and then the storyline for the next umpteen seasons is them falling out and arguing and being mean to each other. I can't stand that. I really can't. So that's what I really enjoy about that show. I hope it is a season 2. I just know it's not. I know it is going to be a season 2 because it just came out that it was one of the highest ranked watch shows on the network. And we all love Bravo, but we all don't have cable and we have the help of Peacock. So that's what kind of contributed to its popularity. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So I hope they get another season. But that Georgia girl, I'm not a fan of hers. That's my least favorite character because she, like, I think it was the second episode where she admitted she don't really wash her hands. And I thought that was like, back in the day we would think, oh, ha, 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 she don't wash her hands, blah, blah, blah. But no, like, after what we saw with COVID and stuff and how quickly it spread, like, that's not funny. Honestly, that's not funny. And that's very unhygienic, not hygienic, basically. So, yeah, no, never, not her. Don't bring her back, but everyone else bring back. So, that's cool. Um, B. Simone, she made me mad. Let me explain why, like, B. Simone made me mad because, she did that interview or whatever, and she did, like, an interview with her friends or whatever, and all those other parts didn't really stand out to me like it did to other people. The only thing that stood out to me was that B. Simone was crying that she could not shop at Bloomingdale's. Like, she had to shop at H&M. Let me tell y'all something. My closet is H&M down, okay? Every time I go to the mall, which is not often these days, I gotta go to H&M and M and I gotta leave with a brown bag. Like, that's my store. Girl, ain't nothing wrong with shopping at H&M. Nothing. They got good sales. So when you first walk into H&M, right, you got like the regular clothes. But if you head towards like more in the middle of the store, but it depends on how the the store is designed. So you go on the women's clothes, so you got like the new stuff, right? If you go a little further into like the store, you got the sales rack. Oh my God, do you not know how lucky I've been every time I go in the sales rack that I find cute dresses and shirts and jeans for no less than $25? Like you could buy like black t-shirts that could be used as undershirts, whatever. Those could be like $5 a piece. Like I don't know why she hating because they got some good sales. And don't go to a H&M outlet store because that's, oh my God, that's an experience. So I went to the I think this was like last summer. No, last summer, probably around Thanksgiving. I don't know. I remember it being very cold, so it's probably around Thanksgiving. I went to this outlet mall in Michigan City, and they had an H&M outlet, right? So I got like a shirt, I got some leggings, I got all that, and I spent $50. I got like a handful of stuff, and I spent nothing but $50. Like H&M will save your life shopping there. They got cute stuff. Their websites. I have the app on my phone. That's how bad I got it for H&M, and they be having good sales too. And also, you could sign up to be like a H&M member. So like it's like CVS. When they ask you, "Are you a CVS member?" All they got to do is scan your phone. Like don't be talking down on H&M. Like that's the jam. That's the store right there. Now, my personal opinion with Bloomingdale's, I've been to Bloomingdale's in Phipps Plaza in Atlanta, right? I hated it. I had no business in there because everything was expensive. Everything looked like you could buy it off Shein for like $24.99, but if you go touch an actual like price tag, it's like $300. That didn't make any sense to me. So B Simone, you have to watch what you say because that don't make sense. It doesn't make any sense, honestly. So what I'm trying to say to B Simone is just, watch your tone because we love H&M out here. We do. Uh, I want to send a lot of rest in peace. A lot of people died. I don't understand why. How? What happened? So the first one, rest in peace, Julian McMahon. If you guys don't know who that is, Cole from Charmed and the doctor from Nip Tuck. That man was so fine. He was so beautiful and handsome. But he passed away. I think he was like 56. He was very young. He had cancer, and I guess he kept it private. He was living in Florida trying to get well, but he passed away. Michael Madsen. I never saw a lot of Michael Madsen movies. Every time I hear that name, I just think about Michael Jackson's "You Rock My World" video. He was in that video. I think he was like one of the villains in there. So rest in peace to him. I think he had like some a heart attack or something. I don't know, but he passed away. Jimmy Swaggart. Okay, so a lot of people may not know who Jimmy Swaggart is. Jimmy Swaggart is like this religious, like a televangelist or whatever. And the reason why I know who Jimmy Swaggart is because my family is religious, kind of. And sometimes, like, he was on the religion channel, not EWTN, but the other one. And, like, when I was a kid, I would be, like, flipping through the channels at my grandmother's house because she would go to sleep before I did. And this was, like, when I was a little kid. And I would flip through the channels, and sometimes they would play, like, Jimmy Swaggart services on TV. So, yeah, so rest in peace to him. Walter Scott from The Whispers. I grew up listening to The Whispers, so rest in peace to him. Young Noble from The Outlaws. He passed away. He committed suicide, and I think he was like one of no. I think there was only 2 members of Outlaws left. So now it's just Matula Beal. I think that he's left, and everyone else is deceased. So rest in peace to him. Robbie from City High, he passed away like a week or so ago. I think he was like one of the first vocal from What Would You Do by City High. I remember that song. I love City High, honestly. So rest in peace to him. They never really said what took him out, but he did pass away a couple weeks ago. Ananda Lewis, I grew up in like kind of the second golden time of MTV, like during TRL and MTV Cribs and all that stuff. I remember watching Ananda on TV. She was so beautiful, and sometimes, and she looked to me just like Aaliyah, like she could be Aaliyah's sister. And I actually later found out a couple years after that they were actually good friends. So she passed away from breast cancer. Rest in peace to her. She was just so beautiful, and she was the sister. I didn't know that. I just found this out too. She is the sister-in-law to Will Smith. I didn't know that. She married Will's brother, Harry, and they had a son together. So, rest in peace to her. Sly Stone. Sly Stone. That one, like, stung. I love Sly Stone's music. If you guys didn't know, I did like a review on the Sly Lives documentary, and I think that I'm glad that Questlove did that documentary, because we get to now use that documentary as a resource to teach our children, because Sly Stone too is Black history. So we have that documentary to show our the next generation, like, you know, the music of maybe their great grandparents' time and what their parents was allowed to listen to because of their great grandparents. Rest in peace. He was 82 years old. So, Connie Francis, who made Pretty Little Baby. So if you guys are like me, y'all be scrolling through TikTok and people be making their matcha and pouring cereal in their bowls. Like, they do play that song. I didn't know who she was until someone explained to me, like, oh, she made that song that's on TikTok a lot. So, rest in peace to her. Bishop Norman Hutchins, again, I come from religious family. If you know that song, God's got a blessing with your name on it. I've heard that song so many times in my life, and something I still do believe in. He performed that song. I don't know how old he was or what happened to him or how he passed away, but I just saw it on Instagram, and I knew his music, so of course. Malcolm Jamal Warner, he actually passed away a couple of days ago. And this one shocked me because he was 54, he was very young. And, like, he was Theo Huxtable, you know? He was in Costa Rica, he drowned. What later came out today was that he was with his daughter and they were swimming, and a person was able to save his daughter, but unfortunately he drowned, and now they have to get the remains back to LA. And people were making a big fuss about, you know, posting, you know, him in a picture of Michelle Thomas, the actress who also passed away, but she passed away like almost like 27 years ago. And people are saying, oh, they're now reunited in heaven and blah, blah, blah. I get where people are coming from when they say, hey, that's kind of disrespectful, because he did have a wife and kid. But I think people were also doing it because from a TV show mind. So they think, oh, Justine and Theo, but not Michelle and Malcolm, you know, if you guys know what I mean. But it really did shock me, because I was like, dang, Theo Huxtable. Well, okay, also understand this. So the Cosbys ended in 1992, right? I didn't come into this world until 3 years later. So I grew up watching Malcolm and Eddie. I didn't really care for Malcolm and Eddie as a kid, but you watch like Pluto TV, and sometimes there's like full episodes on YouTube. And I was watching them one day. I was like in my mid-20s, and I never laughed so hard. And I was like, oh, I enjoy this. I really do enjoy Malcolm and Eddie. And then I remember him being on Read the Lines. And then he was on this other show called The Residents. It's about him as a doctor. I didn't really watch the show. My mom was really into that show. So she was like kind of shocked about his passing. So he had like a really nice like resume in acting. And he was also a musician as well. So rest in peace to him. And then after I got the news of Malcolm and Jamal Warner, I'm like, dang, I hope nobody else died. Like, I hope everybody gets to stay another day, because this is a little too much. The next day, y'all, after Malcolm and Jamal Warner, so yesterday, technically, we found out Ozzy Osbourne died. Like, I'm like, dang, okay. But Ozzy had Parkinson's disease, and he was not well, like the past few years after his, like as he got older, basically. But it was really crazy that he was able to do a concert to say goodbye basically to everybody, and then a week later he had passed away. So um, I I kind of listen to Black Sabbath, but I only know Ozzy. Not only, I mainly knew Ozzy through watching the Osbournes that came out in like 2001, 2002, 2003. One of those years. I was a kid, but I just remember watching it on TV. So rest in peace to Ozzy as well. Let's see what else. I want to move on to some happy news. Um, Jeff Bezos marries Lauren Sanchez over there in Italy somewhere. I guess congratulations to them. I guess they had like the Kardashians and stuff at their wedding, and her dress, it was cute, but it was like tacky cute, if you will, if that makes sense. They looked like they put some money in it. Looked like there was money put in it. That's all I'm gonna say. Congratulations to them, because if you put money into something, I don't know nothing about that. I'm broke. Congratulations to the Oklahoma City Pelicans. I guess their name, Oklahoma City. I'm gonna call y'all that. The basketball team. Congratulations to them. They won a championship, which is great because I'm tired of the same old teams winning. We needed a new team to win. Like, it was either going to be LeBron or Steph in the finals. Like, we need a new face, please. So congratulations to them. Charlie Sheen is putting out a memoir. I think I'm going to check that out because I want to know what was going through Charlie Sheen's mind when he was like doing that winning stuff. Like, why was he acting like that? And also, I want to know like how he's handling life now. He's an older man. Also, he has HIV. Like, he lives as a person with HIV. So I wonder how, like, he's slowing down with life. Like, is he settling down? Did he get remarried? Does he want to have more kids? All that stuff. I'm curious about that. Allen Iverson is putting out a memoir. I really cannot wait to read that one. Now, we had different documentaries. Some of them told from his mouth. One of them that was on ESPN was not told from his mouth. So now we have his story, told in his words, and I can't wait to check that out. So I can't wait to see that. I think these two are coming out later this year, though. I have them on saved in my Amazon list, so I think they come out like probably around Christmas or so. Tiffany Henyard is putting out a memoir, and she's charging $99 for it. Now, I guess it's to pay for like the publishing and stuff, which I've seen happen before. I actually have a book that Daz Dillinger published. It's kind of like a comic chapter book or whatever, but I paid like $120 for it because it's self-published. So I guess with Tiffany Henyard, hers is self-published. I'm not gonna buy it because I feel like that book is gonna be filled with such lies. So no thanks. But she is putting one out, and we'll see how that sells. Basically, the Lakers are being sold to Mark Walter, who owns the LA Dodgers. The Lakers were owned by the Buss family, so Jeannie Buss, her father, and all that stuff, which was shocking to me because the Buss family has owned that team for years, even after Dr. Buss's passing. So I guess with new ownership, it kind of affects like the players, how they're chosen, and what coaches are chosen and hired and all that stuff. So I can't wait to see that. Maybe they'll bring it back to like the golden days of, the Lakers back when like Kobe and Shaq were playing. So we'll see about that. Ricky Smiley had a stand-up special on Hulu. If you ask me, I actually like Open Casket Sharp better than this one on Hulu. I laughed, but I didn't really laugh a lot. You know what I mean? I didn't. I mean, there were some ha-ha parts, but I didn't really. I enjoy Open Casket Sharp more. And Open Casket Sharp came out like almost 20 years ago. I love that one, and I think it's on YouTube. Like the full thing is on YouTube somewhere. So, but Chico Bean has a stand-up special on Hulu, and it is hilarious. I've watched it like 3 times, and I've seen Chico Bean in concert once when he came with 85 South. Hilarious. He's hilarious. So you guys got to check that one out. Aaron Rodgers, he signs with the Steelers, which breaks my heart because I'm not a fan of Aaron Rodgers. But if he can bring us a championship in Pittsburgh, I'll shake his hand. That's how far it'll get. I'll just shake his hand. But it's also weird because Aaron Rodgers got married and nobody knows who that woman is. So he's like arguing, I'm keeping her identity private. Maybe I think it's a PR tactic, because why would you not say your wife's name? At least say like her first name or her nickname or something. But you keep her completely private. Like, oh, okay. What else? Okay, so I know y'all like, what about Diddy? What about Diddy? So I got my notes for Diddy, right? So y'all know in the last podcast I did like the first week of the Diddy trial, right? The Diddy trial was like 7 weeks long. All right, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do the Diddy trial, 7 weeks. I'm gonna write notes down and all that stuff. Listen, by the middle of the 3rd week, I gave up. It was too much revealed, to more than what we needed to know. I was like, no, nope, no more, no thank you. I'll just wait until like the day they wrap up, right? So the day they wrapped up, it took like a day and a half for deliberations. I don't know why, and I don't understand how people could be so dumb. So he was guilty on prostitution and the Mann Act, which the Mann Act is basically you bringing over prostitutes to different states, because I think prostitution is only legal in Nevada. Hold on. Let me see. I have the charges in my phone. I took a picture of the TV screen. Okay, here we go. So, count 1 of racketeering conspiracy, he's not guilty. Count 2 of sex trafficking, not guilty. Count 3, which is, yes, transportation to engage in prostitution, the Mann Act. No, I'm sorry. Transportation to engage prostitution. Oh, so there's 2 counts of that. Prostitution and Mann Act. Okay, prostitution and Mann Act. That's what he was guilty of. Everything else he was not guilty of. So when they said he was not guilty of like RICO, he dropped to his knees. I just wanted to like yell, get up! Get up! Oh, get your butt up. Get your knees off them people's floor. Get up! So he mouths his people. He's coming home, right? So I guess bail was like an option. It was on the table. But then the judge denied bail. Well, hold on. So Diddy got on his knees. He was saying, I'm coming home. Yeah. Oh, Diddy's not guilty of RICO, blah, blah, blah. So then court adjourned for like a couple hours, right? So I go to the grocery store. I had to take my brother to the grocery store. So they said, okay, around 4:30, they're going to announce if he has trial or not. And I'm thinking, oh, they're going to give him, or bail, sorry, I said trial, it is trial, bail. They're going to announce if bail is coming, is if he's going to have bail. So I go to the grocery store, I come back home, I pull up TMZ. Bail denied because Cassie and I think someone else wrote a letter to the judge. So the judge was like, no, you're going to have to sit down. And so now the sentencing date for his actual, like his fate, I guess, is October 13th. So we are about to hit August, September, October. So we're about like 3 months away. So people are saying that the government's saying he could do months. Listen, I don't know. I'm gonna wait and see what the court say, because I could have sworn he was guilty of everything, but no, he was only guilty of 2. So I'm not gonna say, oh, this is gonna happen and this is definitely gonna. No, I'm just gonna wait to see what the courts say. So yeah, that's Diddy, and now we have to wait until October 3rd and see what happens. So those are my Diddy notes. Speaking of our favorite artist in jail, well, he's not my favorite artist. I grew up listening to his music. R. Kelly, he overdosed in jail. I I guess someone gave him, they overdosed him, or I'm sorry, over medicated him, and he overdosed. But you know what's crazy? Joycelyn Savage is still in the picture. She's been so quiet for so many years, like for so long. I thought she probably up and left him by now, but there is a video of her. She was defending him, and I asked Robert to marry me, and he said yes, and we're gonna get married and all this. I was like, girl, you still in the picture? Like, oh, okay, all right. So now they're fighting to get R. Kelly out of jail because I don't know, like, I guess I don't want to say somebody racist, Aryns, yeah, that group, they're trying to kill him. That's what he's claiming. So they're trying to get him out, and he had like blood clots and stuff before, but no, he overdosed in jail. So, do I think R. Kelly's gonna get out of jail? I don't think so. I don't think so because the story kind of died down. I haven't heard anything about it since. And lastly, I got to talk about how the car industry is falling apart. So the Kia Souls are discontinuing in 2025. Not surprising because Kias keep getting stolen and mostly Souls are stolen. They did a killer rollout with them though when they first came out back in like 2007 with the little hamsters. But all things come to an end. So no more Kia Souls. And they were nice cars. I was gonna buy one too, but it was kind of expensive before I bought my car. But yeah, no more Kia Souls. They're probably gonna come out with something like better and probably something electric and probably something that should not be stolen, in my opinion. So yeah, no more Kia Souls. Also, Jaguar sales are plummeting. I think where they went wrong, Jaguar, is they shifted away from cars like sedans. Because I used to work for Jaguar and Land Rover. Because I got some stuff about Land Rover. I used to work for them. When I worked for Jaguar and Land Rover, so if a Jaguar needed to be serviced, they didn't service anything older than like 2015, and a lot of the older Jaguars are sedans. But there was sedan Jaguars in the 2010s, the XJR. I think those are the ones. I kind of forgot. But yeah, they didn't touch like the bug-eyed Jaguars and stuff. You had to take that to like a specialized vintage Jaguar shop. So yeah, there were no sedans in like 2015 and after. Jaguars were mostly SUVs. They're very hard to maintain. And what I mean by that is like they always need something, right? They always need something. And like the Range Rovers, when I was working at Range Rover, I could have got calls like everybody called because they needed coolant. Something simple like coolant, they needed it. And every day I probably got like 10 calls of, I need coolant. I need coolant. I need coolant. They're not the best cars anymore. Neither is Range Rover, and they're cutting jobs in the United Kingdom. Nobody's really buying Range Rovers because if you want the highest trim, like the best of the best of the best, that'll run you like $110,000. And in this economy, nobody really has it anymore. And that's the part of the reason why I kind of lost my job is because nobody's really buying these expensive Range Rovers. Nobody's buying Range Rovers. It's, your job is done for. So, but did y'all see the new Range Rover logo? I don't like it. It's too, like, something can be simple, but something can be too simple and it does not make sense. Like, it's an R on top of an R. Like, it's like the Temu version of the Rolls Royce like logo. I hate it. I don't like it. I don't like it. Because you don't know what you buying. It's one thing that one logo can fall off and you don't, like, if you like are really dumb and you don't know what your car is, like, or people driving, it's like, oh, that's a nice car, what is that, you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense. So all you can do is just pray for the future of Range Rover. Range Rover is like has been around for years, but it's just not for the economy right now. It's not. So that's the end of this episode. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I gotta go get ready for the gym. I don't have any like big spectacular goodbyes. So I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.